Hey guys, and welcome to episode 19 of Serganan's Feed the Beast Let's Play Season 1. As we left off last time, we went ahead and made it so that we can go out of our roof. We no longer have a door. I'm still having lag issues, as you can see a little bit. And what I mentioned last episode is I want to go ahead and expand this farm. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to build a second farm. And this one I want to be a managed farm. This one here, I believe is this one's a managed farm. So I want a unmanaged farm. The one that, basically we have to do set up manually. And then from there it'll take care of itself. So let's go ahead and figure out where we want it to be. I want to do a small farm. But I do want it to intersect, so that way it doesn't look too bad here. So let me figure out where we need to place this, and I'll be right back. You guys have seen me set up this farm. Okay, guys, I'm here under my farms, right? And I went ahead and have this one set up. I don't like how that's doing that. Let me. I found a good way to stop the visual effect of the water coming through, and that is with half slabs. There we go. Because I just want the bottom half. If you just put the bottom half, then technically the water is not touching the block. Let me see if I can get it right there. Okay. So if you just put the bottom half, then technically the water's not touching the block, so it doesn't drip through. And so what I went ahead and did was, back behind here, I have that one cable going through all the way to my wireless access point that's, way under the sand over there. So I just tapped into it here, and I actually want to run ME cabling from here straight to the hatch here. Actually, not that far. And here, I want the precision export. That's going to export from our network. And I also want to put a MA cable there. It should stop the water. And then I want a basic import. So let's see if I am able to get this. I can just go ahead and wrench it. And I want it to import. So from there we can put a precision export, and then now just facade it all up. So that should take care of our importing and exporting items into our farm. I'm going to leave this one open just for the moment, and I can put that there. So I'm going to leave this one open so that way I can configure the export. The other thing that we're going to need is water. So when I went ahead, I brought down some liquid ducts. I think that I should be okay running this off the same aqueous accumulator. Don't see why not. If we have a problem, actually, let me see if I can just come off up here. If we have a problem with the water maybe not having enough, then I can always adjust it and put another one down. But for right now, what's the point of making an extra machine if we may not need it? And so I actually want to move. I did not want to break all of them. Sometimes you have to be careful with some of these tools. So I want the gearbox. I'm not sure if I want it there. I can always put the gearbox right here. I think with this I'm only going to have one gearbox. And we'll go ahead and put this back down, and I'll put the valve over here. So that way I can connect it right up there. And there we go. So that's connected. Now I just need to wrench it. And there we go. So water's starting to flow in. And this should form, and we should have water. So now we have water. We have the items going in, and we need power. So what I went ahead and did was I cut down through here, and I made my way over to where this one is. And what I want to do is just go ahead and connect this up all the way to here, and that's connected. So now, again, this is all the access corridors that I make in the back. So now I should be able to pop this off and take these off. Go ahead and fill those back in, because I don't necessarily want them right there. And I know this is going to stop this farm from running for just a minute here. I'll go ahead and put one down on the bottom there. Okay, and I want the redstone energy cell now to be here. And the reason for that is less distance overall. I really only want to run one set of cable that'll connect both, and if I'm kind of in the middle, then it makes it a lot easier. There we go. And not the prettiest, but it's connected. And hopefully we have enough here. Looks like just enough. So now I should be able to wrench this and turn it on. Oh, nope, I want it to be wrench. Wrench it and turn it on. So now I should be getting power in here. Obviously it's not doing anything. I don't have it set up yet. And this one should continue to run. So if we go upstairs, now we have everything set up down here. We have minus the items that we actually want to put in. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and use the soldering iron, because I don't want this to be a regular tree farm, and I want it to be a manual farm. Okay, so the first thing I want is the golden electron tube. That's going to be a succulent farm. That's cactus. The diamond tube is a reed farm for the sugarcane, and then 2 rubberized, and that's going to be rubber. Go ahead and throw this in here, and now I have the circuit board. So if I go ahead and insert this here, it should change it to rubber on the sides, and it's going to be cactus on one side and reeds on the other. So let's go ahead and go upstairs and get it set up. So we're going to need sand, obviously, for the cactus. We can use sand also for the reeds, and then for the rubber we're going to need some dirt. Okay, so if I read this right, the way that this works is basically it's like facing this way, right? So this one will face the same way. So it'll be cactus and then reeds. Now obviously we do need water for the reeds. We don't need water for the cactus, so let's go ahead and put those down first. And I believe the way that it should go is just like We don't need a lot of cactus. And so that'll be all of the cactus that we have. We also don't need a lot of reeds. And so I believe we have to put water in here. And that's not going to hit the corners. Now I did put this over water. I could just drop it down one. I mean, this whole, where everything's growing, I could drop it down one, and then water will get right here. I can put in 1 block of water here. Let's just work with what we have here so far. I'll just go ahead and clear that out. And I'll put the stone back here, and then get some sitting on it, and I'll put that there. So then I'll just put a trench of water here, and this will all be reeds. And then the last thing we need is the dirt. Now remember, this is a manual farm, so you have to do all of the setup yourself. These farms here, the managed farms, they go ahead and set everything up. The dirt, they plant everything. The manual farms don't. Basically, what the manual farms do is they just harvest. Okay, so now we have that. So now we need cactus. And I should have some. I don't know how much I have. So not a lot, but some. So we'll go ahead and plant the cactus. And I don't believe we can't plant it next to each other. So we'll have to do it like this. I don't believe... Okay, looks like that does require fertilizer. Looks like everything required fertilizer. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some reeds and water. And I don't think I have any water buckets, but I do have a couple buckets. You just pick it up here. I guess that's just a visual bug. Let me try. No, it's there. It's just visually looks like it's sloping down. So now we have the water. Let's get the reeds. And I should have some. Again, probably not a lot. But that's okay. That's what this farm's for. It's made to get me more. And the last thing is rubber. So let's go ahead and put the fertilizer setup in the farm. So I should have some fertilizer already made up, and it's right here. Not a whole stack, that's okay. And so we want to tell it to move stacks of items at a time, and that should go ahead and get this started. The energy is going in, and that'll help everything grow. I also want to tell it, just in case, to keep dirt and sand. Maybe it doesn't need to. Okay, because it's managed, it probably doesn't need the dirt or sand. So let's go ahead and pull that out. I'll put this in here. I'll make some more fertilizer as well. So now, let's go ahead and see if I wanted to check to see if it will work, if the rubber farm will work with these existing blocks that we have. Right, I mean I could go grow trees, but I don't think it's necessary. So let's see if it will automatically harvest from this. So there's rubber there. Let's give it a second, see if it actually does anything with it. Okay, looks like it took a second, but it did go ahead and harvest the rubber. So that's a good sign. That means that we should be able to move all of our rubber trees over here and not have to worry about it. I think it should work with them being right next to each other. Let's check it out this way. And if this works the way that I really hope it will, I'll leave that there. If this works the way that I hope it will, then I may not even need 2 spots for rubber. I may be able to just do 1 and just really, really put a lot of logs in here. If I can land on this without killing myself. Yep, looks like it did pull out that one. And so we'll give it a second and see if it pulls out that one too. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and move everything else over. Okay, so I went ahead and moved all of them from over there to over here. And it looks like whether we can see the knots or not, it is harvesting them, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So now I can just lay a whole layer of tree parts with the knots here and not have to worry about it. So let's go ahead and get a few more. And the way I've been doing it is basically just growing a tree, bone mealing it, and then taking the parts that I need. Right, just the tree parts with the knot. So I think what I'm going to do is about 3 high on this, which is going to take a couple of trees, obviously because every tree doesn't have a knot on every piece of wood. But as you can see, whether or not we can see the knot, if we wait for this one here, it does harvest it. So let me go ahead and get a few more pieces of wood, and I'll get that 3 high, and then we'll come back and check on it. Looks like our cactus is growing, so that should go ahead and cut that off here. I did find a little bit more cactus in my chest that I have outside my house. Give it a second and see if that does cut it down. I don't believe it needs anything else. It should just go ahead and cut it. It might wait until it hits 3 and then cut 2 off. I'm not sure how this is going to work, whether it's just going to wait for 1 or wait for all 3. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting to see how that works, I'll go ahead and collect up the more wood, stack it on top, and then we should be really rolling in the rubber. Okay guys, we're all set up. I went ahead and changed it since we don't need that much rubber, and I can go ahead and stack this higher if need be. I went ahead and changed it so that the 2 smaller plots are actually rubber, and the 2 bigger ones are reed and cactus. So this is 30 rubber wood right here that all have knots on it, one place or another. And so it'll continue to clear that out. If I need to, I can put more there, or I can stack this higher. Not sure if I want to change that to a different farm just yet. I went ahead and planted all the reeds. What it seems to be doing is it'll let it get to 3 high and then just harvest off the top one, which is nice because then then they're always be constantly growing. So that should be a good supply of sugar reeds, rubber, and cactus. I don't know if I'm going to need this much cactus after it really starts going, but I guess it doesn't really hurt. Okay, so now that we have all that, I did notice that my tree farm here, it's going, but I mean, as you can see, the trees are just grown up all over the place. The nice thing is at least I can move around to try to find my cart. Where is it? And I know exactly what happened with him. There he is. Stop. What had happened is he's actually the durability on his cutting blade is gone. Stop. And I want to put diamonds into him, but he won't stop moving. Let me see if I can cut him off here. Actually, let's just wait till he stops over here. There we go. So now I should be able to put diamonds in here, and it'll redo the durability on his tools. 2 of them is enough to get it all the way up to full, and then a little bit extra. So that should go ahead and start doing our trees again. Our wheat farm is doing really well, as is our nether wart. So if we check here, we have quite a bit of nether wart and quite a bit of wheat. We also have a good amount of seeds. So maybe at some point I might change that up, or just let it keep going. The way that I had this spaced out here, as you can see with the reeds, the way that I have the water spaced out, every single block is touching water, which makes it really nice for now I can use every single piece. Same thing with the cactus. They cannot basically touch another block right next to it, so that's why I couldn't put the rubber wood there and there. Otherwise, it would take away from the cactuses, and it's not a big deal. Like I said, if I need to, I can always take the rubber up higher. So one other thing that I want to do now that I have that started is I'd like to get into some Mistcraft to be able to create my own ages and things like that. But I don't have any Mistcraft pages. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually start a little bit of bee breeding, because the bee products are going to be useful, and I can also produce emeralds, which will help me buy Mistcraft pages from villagers. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a scoop, which we're going to need for bee breeding. And you know what? I don't know how much wool I actually have. Let me see here. I do have a little bit. So what we want is a scoop. So I should be able to find some sticks here. There we go. And I believe it's like that. So now we have a scoop, and I'm going to go ahead and make 2 of them. And what we should be able to do with the scoop is the scoop's needed to collect bees. And I know that there's some beehives around here somewhere close by. There's one. And what you do is you just dig it with a scoop, and you get your bees. And so now I have a meadow princess and a meadows drone. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a couple more. Now it is easier to find bees at night because the beehives do glow just a little bit. What are these? Mystical. That's cool. I'm gonna go search around, see if I can find a couple more different types. Maybe even some extra meadows here. I believe this one is forest? No, that's an unusual. So let's see if we can find some forest. The 2 common ones that you're going to start with are going to be meadows and forest. The mystical and the unusual, they are more for the magical bees, and we will get into those. Let's see if I can find anything here in a swamp. Oh, that's a big hole there. Yeah, that's really cool. The gold gravel. I'm not really hurting on gold at the moment, so I'm just going to leave the terrain how it is. I don't see any more beehives. I'm going to go ahead and look around a little bit and collect some up, and then I'll meet you back at the base. Okay, while I was running around looking for bees, I came across a village. And there's already some apiaries. So I'm gonna steal these and steal the drones. And I'm actually going to steal the apiaries as well. Because that'll make it so I don't have to build my first couple. Which will be nice. Let's see if we can find a few more. I did find some of these modest bees. They're normally in deserts. Ooh, what are these? Those are sorceress. Looks like I'm kind of full. I don't need sand. Let's go drop these off. And we're running around, and I still have not found a forest um, bee. So I think I'm going to fly around a little bit more. Again, collect up some more bees, find a forest, and then we can start working on our bee room. Remember how I said the beehives are a lot easier to find at night? This is why. Is because they do glow at night, as you can see. I mean, there's one down there, there's one over there. Make it a lot easier to find at night. Obviously, when you're away from your base and away from the lights. There's one there. You can see they're all over the place. Ooh. Let's see what's in here. Nothing really special, but we can grab it. Oh, looks like it's not going to let us grab anything else. So let's head back home. And I did find a forest princess. It's just one. Unfortunately, I did not find any drones. So I am going to have to be really, really careful with the forest princess, or maybe try to find some more drones. Let's go back to our base and get everything started. How does this look? This is going to be my bee house, right? And I like making the walls out of wood because it makes it feel more like a bee house. I do have glass up here and right here, so it lets in lots of light. Bees do have to be able to see the sky. And so I went ahead and just built it over here. And the reason that I made it right where I did and the size that I did was actually because of the biome. Right here we're in a plains, and if you go right to the wall, right here, if we're walking, now we're in a beach biome, right? Beach, plains, beach. So you can see right here is all plains. On the inside is all plains. And the reason that I wanted it like that is because plains is considered a normal humidity, normal temperature. Beach might be, I believe beach might be a little bit hotter temperature, maybe normal humidity. I really couldn't tell you exactly, but I do know plains is a normal. And we can look at the different biomes later. And as we get into bee breeding, we are going to need different biomes. Now that we have our house there's 3 different types of bee houses. The first one, and your most basic, is going to be your bee house, right? Basic bee house. So let's go ahead and make one. And bee house. So we're just going to make one for the time being. Then you have your apiaries, which is like the next setup. You have to make an impregnated casing, which requires a carpenter with seed oil. And you have to put logs in, and it'll make an impregnated casing. Now, we don't have seed oil, so that's going to be a problem. The final one, basically the big bee house, is a multi-block. It's made with it's an alveary. It's made with alveary blocks, which require the impregnated casing and scented paneling. And scented paneling, you have to have beeswax, pollen, royal jelly, and these are all from bees. And then it has to be put together in a carpenter with honey. So that's going to be a little ways off. And then these are all additions to it, like the hydro regulator, you can adjust how dry or wet it is. Here you can get it to pull out pollen from trees. The swarmer adds more. I believe this is what you have to have at least one, because that's where the queen goes. The fans can make it drier. Or I'm sorry, the fans can make it cooler. The heater can make it hotter. So there's lots of different things that you can do. So right now we have one bee house, and if you remember, I stole 2 apiaries from the villagers. They don't need them. And then I do have some bees from the nether, and that's because of the fact that I do have the quarry going in the nether. So let's look up. We'll get a drone. I want a meadows drone, just one. A forest drone, just one. And let's go ahead and do a rocky. So now we have the drones. Now we need the princess. I want a meadows princess to go with the meadows drone. I want a forest princess. I did go get some more forest. And I want a rocky. Now the rockies I'm getting because I'm quarrying. Most likely the water is why too, because I am quarrying in the ocean. And so let's take them up here. Oh, one last thing that we need is some of these. Obviously, bees need flowers. Not all bees. So let's go ahead and put down our apiaries in our bee house. I'm gonna put I'll put the bee house right here, and I'll put the 2 apiaries right there. Okay, and I'll show you the differences between the houses. Obviously, the bee house is the easiest one to make, but for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put in a drone and a princess, and it's going to make me a queen. And I'm gonna keep them purebred right now. Okay, so there we have the queen. Normal. This is where the biome is. And then just basically owner information. Now these, there's a little bit different here. Normal. That's where we put it down. Not daytime. They can only operate during the day because they're not nocturnal. Now the Rockies are not, or can work during the day. They are nocturnal, but no flowers. So it's saying that it can't find the flowers that it needs. Let me go ahead and sleep through the night here real quick. So it can't find the flowers that it needs, right? It's saying that there's no flowers around. So we can go ahead and put some flowers down. Just a few, right? We don't need a lot. That should be good. Still says no flowers. The reason is, and these guys are saying no flowers too. Give it a second. Okay, these guys are fine because there's flowers around. These guys should change here in just a second. Go ahead and put one right next to them. There we go. So now they're fine. Now these guys, they still don't like the flowers. It's because that's not what they're looking for. Now normally you would have a bee analyzer and you'd be able to tell. Rockies, I know. Rockies, they're normally found in caves. There's not flowers down in caves. They need stone. So go ahead and put stone there. And there we go. Now they're happy. And they'll go ahead and do their thing. They'll collect up resources. And you can see here they slowly die. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up for this episode. Next episode, we'll go ahead and get into the automation of the bees, and we can look a little bit more at the products that they make. And with that, I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Everyone counts, and Feel free to leave any comments on any of the videos. I do try to read them all, and if I can, respond. And with that, I will see you guys later.